Is there anything, you've been thinking about in this environment that has shaped your game plan in any way? Is there any changes that you're thinking about?
You're on mute, Rich.
Sorry. I'm glad to be here. Somehow Mark roped me into being on this panel again. And because I've met some of you and have been able to find some ways to work on some deals together, I felt hard pressed to say yes, where I would prefer to be listening. And thanks, Sean and Steve, for including me in a group of people who got to hear Ray Dalio last week, who spoke, because I found that very thoughtful. And his framework offers a couple of things that kind of come to mind. And one is, the fear of a long stagnation because of all this debt that's now in the market. So one of the fears that I have that sort of motivates me and the advice we're giving is the risk of a period of protracted stagnation in the main economies, the uneven recovery in the economies where tech is flying and other places are left way behind. The political divide in the US, where even the politicians that I like leave me underwhelmed. And big government, it's just not working in the current environment. So Dalio talked about a need for a leader who can unite us to bring productivity gains. And I'm hoping that something good will come of this, but all I know is what I see now I don't really like. And the geopolitical tensions, which hangs over all of this, that, today I'm in Moscow. I'll be back at the end of the month, but, countries are pulling further and further apart. The countries that are finding ways of cooperating with each other are fewer and fewer. And that's a trend that's kind of accelerated by the pandemic, where people are traveling less, countries are looking to kind of resource things, becoming less interdependent. All of that leads to more trends of independent thinking, lack of interdependence, more nationalism, which I think reduces the growth trajectory in global economies. I share Kathleen's view of a fear of the weak dollar. We haven't really figured out what we're going to do, but we are using the dollar as a reference currency. Our agriculture business, which is the core business, generates grain, which we turn into livestock, which we turn into food products, which we try to export increasingly, although most of our products are sold in Russia. And when we export, we're exporting to China. So China, we have some play on China. We'd like to have more play there, but we're a dollar reference currency, and we're not sure what we do. How do you change that? Our spending is partially in euros, but some of the ideas that Todd just said, we'll take home to think about. I also share the excitement about the endowment model. I mean, we're having a review next week, and my kind of strategic rethink is to get to between 30 and 40% in alternatives, which for most of you is probably no big breakthrough, but for us is a shift to sort of allocate much more systematically to private markets, to get more exposure to credit, to get more exposure to hedge funds, and to try to do it as much as we can without relying on fund of funds. Other things that excite me, I'm personally excited about impact investing. I'm working to try to get my principals more excited about the fact that you can do that without sacrificing returns. Particularly interested in health and wellness, renewable energy, and affordable housing. But I also am finding, because of people I know who are going to school and my own kids in school, going to college, the disruption in ed tech, which I think is really going to play out in the next few years. It's an area of a tremendous amount of spending with a lot of inefficiency. And the last thing I'll say is, young people and immigrants have always been a source of inspiration. And I think that we would do better to listen more to our young people and also to create the space in our economies for immigrants. There's a venture fund that focuses on backing first generation immigrants out of Boston. And out of respect for the rules, I won't name them, but that type of stuff is really exciting. And
Called One Way Ventures. I've got
Well-
nothing to do with them, but I know them.
bingo. Okay, so, and you know, I personally love doing the early stage, backing small deals. Thanks to Mark, I've met a few people, some of them are on the phone, who've been, you know, generous to invite us into deals. I hope we're able to reciprocate. I'm reminded by an audiobook that I heard recently called The Power of a Positive No. And the guy talks about interviewing Warren Buffett and asking him, what was one of the secrets of your success? And he said, well, in my business, we say no a lot. We have to say no a lot, but we figure out how to say no with respect. So, you know, I enjoy being part of this community. Oftentimes it doesn't lead to doing a deal, but I hope that it leads to, you know, productive engagement and, you know, relationships that benefit everybody. So thanks, Mark.
Great. Eric, I don't want to leave you out of the conversation.
Won't let himself be let out.
No danger in that, Sean. No danger at all. Hey, so I would echo Rich. I would echo your comment and